The doctor strongly advises John to retire, but John interprets it as an implicit suggestion of surrendering to fate. Following his visit to the doctor's office, John takes a moment to pause at a water fountain. When he notices a custodian attempting to steal from a patient with a broken hand, unexpectedly the custodian finds himself restrained in a chair with a peculiar device fixed to his face and hands. A mysterious, ominous voice announces the commencement of a twisted game. It is then revealed that John is, in fact, the infamous murderer known as Jigsaw. His sinister mission is to place those who have committed wrongdoings into harrowing traps intended to both punish them and test their determination to survive. The custodian is tasked with turning a control dial upwards by 5 levels within a mere 60 seconds, or a vacuum will mercilessly extract his eyeballs. The timer begins, and as the custodian reluctantly turns the dial, he discovers that each twist inflicts agonizing pain upon his finger. Despite the excruciating torment, he perseveres, breaking each finger in the process. Tragically, he fails to meet the deadline, and the vacuum fulfills its gruesome promise, claiming his eyes. However, the scene abruptly shifts, revealing that John had been imagining this mob scenario, and the custodian is simply returning objects to their rightful places. Fast forward 4 months, John is in the process of preparing his will at a cafe when he encounters Henry, a fellow support group member. It transpires that Henry's cancer has been successfully cured through an experimental treatment involving a new medication and procedure, leaving him with a significant scar. This treatment remains unavailable in the USA as it lacks government approval. Nonetheless, Henry provides John with a website where he can explore this unconventional treatment. Upon returning home, John delves into various online interviews with the doctor. He then accesses the website provided by Henry, discovering a video message from the doctor's daughter, Cecilia. She discloses that her father has gone into hiding, but she is determined to continue his work. John reaches out to her, leading to a phone call where she invites him to Mexico to initiate the treatment. A few days later, John arrives in Mexico and is greeted by a taxi driver named Diego. Diego gives him a tour of popular tourist attractions before they journey into a remote area. Suddenly, their path is obstructed by a van, and masked individuals armed with guns confront John, seeking confirmation of his identity. Once satisfied, they transport him to a secretive facility where he is welcomed by housekeeper Gabriela. After settling in, John meets Cecilia, who explains that the van incident is a security measure to ward off the pharmaceutical conglomerate. She provides a tour of the facility, and John encounters other residents, including the caretaker's son, Carlos, an anesthesiologist named Mato, a nurse named Valentina, and a fellow patient named Parker, who offers John words of encouragement as he has completed his own treatment. Valentino proceeds to draw blood and conduct routine tests on JN. Subsequently, JN and Cecilia discuss the treatment details. When asked about his profession, John cryptically mentions transitioning from an engineer to aiding individuals in overcoming inner obstacles. The following day, John undergoes the surgical procedure. Given that the operation involves his brain, it necessitates an awake craniotomy, allowing the medical team to monitor his consciousness and ensure the procedure's precision. While briefly awakened, John is asked to move his fingers, which he successfully accomplishes. He catches a glimpse of his own brain, complete with the tumor, on a monitor before drifting back into unconsciousness. Hours later, JN awakens in a new facility closer to a hospital for potential transfusions. Cecilia confirms the operation's success and informs John that he only needs to take a special medicine for a week. Overjoyed, John expresses his gratitude, shedding tears of relief, and promises to send the remaining payment in the morning. In the ensuing days, John finds solace and endeavors to embrace life once more. When he inadvertently contemplates designing new traps, he tears the page from his notebook, symbolizing his determination to move beyond his dark past. Filled with gratitude for his newfound lease on life, he purchases a gift for the facility team and employs his skills to investigate landmarks and pinpoint the location of the facility. However, upon arriving at the facility, he is shocked to find the door ajar and signs of chaos within. Venturing further, he discovers the operation room in disarray. On a table, he finds a DVD labeled Surgeons of Tomorrow, and upon viewing it realizes that the footage of his brain surgery was a deceptive ruse. Furious and betrayed, John shatters the gift bottle and begins plotting his revenge. Sometime later, Diego, the taxi driver, is ambushed from behind and rendered unconscious. When Diego regains consciousness, he finds himself bound to a column in the facility, with his hands affixed to scalpels connected to 2 explosive devices. Terrified, he hastily frees himself by cutting the ropes and observes John behind a window, who throws a recorder containing the rules of the grim game. JN recognizes that Diego had posed as the surgeon, and now he must undertake self-surgery to remove the bombs. Using the scalpels, they prove inadequate for cutting the steel wires, forcing Diego to slash the skin they are attached to. Despite the excruciating pain, he perseveres, ultimately defusing the bombs and narrowly escaping the impending explosion. Following the harrowing ordeal, John provides Diego with essential first aid and assures him of his recovery. John also contacts a detective friend to aid in tracking down the rest of the scam team. A few days later, Valentina and a nurse solicit a man at a pub for a one-night encounter. However, when they reach the car, he becomes aggressive upon realizing her profession and attempts to force himself on her. Before he can harm her, a mysterious figure reaches through the car window and eliminates the assailant, then abducts Valentina. Meanwhile, Gabriella visits the veterinary clinic where Mato works and purchases animal medicine, revealing her struggle with addiction. As she departs, Mato is suddenly ambushed and rendered unconscious. Gabriella proceeds to a bar to consume the medicine in a bathroom stall. While there, she notices mysterious footsteps and attempts to slip away discreetly. However, a figure wearing a chilling mask violently subdues her and carries her off to a luxurious mansion. Cecilia prepares bags of money for departure, arranging a meeting with her next victim in Bolivia. Startled by a noise, she checks her security cameras and spots an intruder on the roof. This intruder shatters the glass ceiling, prompting Cecilia to flee to her car. However, her escape is thwarted when she encounters a person in a sinister mask blocking her path. JN suddenly appears and incapacitates her, abducting her in the process. The masked intruder is revealed to be Amanda, the sole survivor of John's previous traps, and a complex web of revenge and deception continues to unfold. She was once an addict, but her life took a dramatic turn when John introduced her to his lethal treatment. Now, she's immensely grateful to him and actively assists him in executing his plans. Several hours later, all the scammers awaken in a secured facility, their attempts to escape thwarted by chains. Amanda confiscates Cecilia's jacket and phone, placing them on a table before John calls everyone out to confront their deception. Cecilia attempts to defend their actions, explaining that JK's case was an exception, but he dismisses her claims. He's already investigated them all, her patients are all deceased, and she's amassed wealth as a result. The first deadly game begins, involving Valentina, whose head is ensnared by ropes and thick wires. She struggles to free herself from the wires around her neck, but it only inflicts pain on her hands. John leaves a box with a wire saw, informing her that she must cut her leg to extract bone marrow for a machine that will deactivate the neck restraint. Initially paralyzed by fear, Valentina is urged by the others to fight for survival. She starts cutting, screaming in agony, making progress despite the excruciating process. With only 45 seconds left, her leg finally falls off. Valentina hurriedly connects the hose but runs out of time. The saw activates, and Valentina loses her life. John and Amanda watch this horrifying scene from an office, and once Valentina is gone, John designates Gabriella as the next victim. Amanda empathizes with Gabriella, understanding how addicts can fall into such schemes, but John emphasizes free will, expecting Amanda to accept this grim reality. It's then revealed that JN intends for Amanda to continue his work after his death. At that moment, Cecilia's phone rings, and the group tries to reach it, but the chains are too short. In a desperate move, Cecilia finds a piece of metal and uses it to open Valentina's abdomen, extracting her intestines to create a makeshift rope. The plan succeeds, bringing the table closer. However, before Cecilia can make a call, Amanda arrives and tasers her before confiscating the phone. Later, Amanda spots someone on the security camera entering the facility. It's Parker armed with a gun, seeking retribution for being scammed. He enters and confronts a person wearing a creepy mask, but when he fires, the figure falls, revealing it to be Valentina's lifeless body. Amanda seizes the opportunity to subdue him and knocks him out. When Parker regains consciousness, he finds himself tied to a chair, and Amanda has his gun. He shows John that the scar inflicted upon him was fake. In response, JN discloses that they've captured the scammers and are exacting retribution. Parker, however, believes their actions are excessive. The next deadly game begins with Amanda preparing Mato instead of Gabriella, tasering him into unconsciousness and warning Gabriella to cooperate. Mato wakes up chained to a chair, facing a peculiar contraption and a camera. The jigsaw puppet appears with surgical tools and instructions. M's caller delivers shocks as he listens to the recording, revealing that he must place a piece of brain tissue into a glass with enzymes. This process will dissolve the tissue, opening a machine door with the key for his release. All of this must be accomplished in 3 minutes. Initially resistant, Mato is shocked by the collar once more, and Cecilia reminds him of Valentina's fate. Mato grabs the drill, screaming in pain as he extracts a piece of his brain and places it in the glass. Unfortunately, there are only 22 seconds left, and the liquid doesn't dissolve the tissue quickly enough. The trap activates, killing Mato by encasing his head in a traditional Mexican mask. Parker continues to express his disgust with the situation, but John and Amanda disregard his objections. Amanda wonders if Cecilia could connect them to her father, but John is determined to see his plan through, ensuring that Amanda learns to carry on his legacy. Tearfully, Amanda embraces John, and he instructs her to release Parker to gauge his allegiance. At that moment, the jigsaw doll appears before Gabriella. She seizes the recorder and throws it away, but John uses speakers to explain the rules to her. He activates a device that suspends Gabriella from the ceiling, chaining her arm and leg. Both limbs must be amputated, or a radiation machine will consume her. Despite enduring excruciating radiation, Gabriella uses the provided tool to free her leg. She swings to the side, charred but alive, yet the machine shifts to continue burning her. Gabriella persists, working on her arm and ultimately succeeds in freeing herself. JN instructs Amanda to take Gabriella to the hospital, but Parker seizes his gun and demands the keys to the chains. They leave the office, and Parker reunites with Cecilia. The truth is unveiled, he has been working with her all along, and they are a couple. After releasing her, Cecilia strikes Amanda and forces John to chain himself to the trap meant for her. JN insists on putting Gabriella as she won the challenge, but Cecilia mercilessly kills her by stepping on her neck. With Amanda also bound, Cecilia states that she never considered the other scammers as her friends and expresses relief that she won't have to pay them. John and Amanda attempt to convince Parker that Cecilia will betray him as well, but he remains unconvinced. Suddenly, a noise is heard outside as Carlos plays with his soccer ball, inspiring Cecilia to exact revenge on John. She brings Carlos into the trap with John, prompting John to attack her. However, he must release her when Parker threatens Carlos. The trap finally activates, and John uses the Spanish he learned to instruct Carlos not to pull the lever. The machine starts spraying blood on their faces, but John tilts the table back, allowing blood to fall only on him to protect Carlos. Carlos insists on helping his friend and pulls the lever. John exerts extra effort to hold his lever down to save Carlos. Meanwhile, Parker and Cecilia enter the office to retrieve their money. As they search, Parker ponders who the trap was originally intended for. Cecilia discovers the bag with their money but uncovers a clock when she moves it. The lights change, the door locks, and the bag contains neither money nor bullets. Downstairs, Amanda and John effortlessly remove the chains and halt the table, rescuing Carlos without complications. It becomes clear that this has been their plan all along, and the office is the true final trap. Diego had provided John with the names of the scammers, and Amanda succeeded in abducting them all. But Parker proved elusive, requiring a plan to lure him in. They left Cecilia's phone near her deliberately, allowing her to contact Parker, who could then trace the call. At that moment, a recording starts instructing them to work together to survive. A deadly chemical gas begins filling the room and burning their skin, with only one ventilation hole for breathing. Instead of cooperating, they selfishly fight over the hole. As John and Amanda predicted, Cecilia does not hesitate to kill Parker and claims the hole for herself. Now, Cecilia must witness John giving all her money to Carlos, and the trio departs, leaving her trapped inside. A few days later, back in the USA, Henry wakes up in a bathroom. He finds himself chained to the ceiling, but this time there's no surgical scar because he had also been a part of the scam. John is ready with a new trap for him, assisted by Detective Hoffman, who in the future will compete with Amanda to be John's successor. The cycle of these sinister games continues.